are we? Welcome to episode 3 in this series of videos on zonal marketing, a brand new model that uses the lessons taken from football management to help you to plan, execute and measure your marketing activity effectively. I'm Simon Vincent, the marketing tactician, and in today's episode we're going to be looking at how your marketing channels are like the players on a football pitch. All football teams have a collection of players, usually 11, but not always, and those players are responsible for fulfilling different roles for the team. Some of them are primarily responsible for scoring goals, while others are primarily responsible for preventing the team from conceding them. Some of them are there to stretch the play wide, while others are considered to be the spine of the team. Anyone who's watched previous videos in this series will of course realise by now that I see this as an analogy for your marketing. Thinking back to episode 2 where we discussed the basics of zonal marketing, of course selling in marketing is the equivalent of attacking in football, and as such there will be a selection of players on this pitch here who are primarily, or channels in your marketing mix I should say, that are primarily designed to guide the customer closer to the point of a transaction. However, there will also be a selection of channels that are responsible for defending, that is, preventing the loss of customers and, of course, building a tribe of followers, customers, advocates for the brand. It's extremely important that when you're developing your marketing mix, that you identify which channels within it are there to fulfill which of those roles, and of course, crucially, how they all fit together. Early in my career, I set up a Twitter account for my employers, and we did really well. We got loads of engagement on that Twitter account, lots of customers asking us questions and talking about us and talking to each other about us, and it was great. And I remember being asked by the financial director at the company, what the ROI was of that activity. And I really struggled to give him a response that kind of matched the kind of pounds and pence information that he wanted to receive about any marketing activity. And of course, that's because with tweets that you put out on Twitter, there really is no direct ROI that's very easy to measure a lot of the time, particularly in the example that I pulled out there. However, that didn't mean it was useless. That content that we put out made those customers feel like they were a part of the brand, like they were part of our tribe, like it represented them in some way. And although that probably didn't lead to a direct ROI immediately, it made them feel a part of something. It kept us top of mind and almost definitely added numbers to the bottom line eventually. It's just that it couldn't really easily be tracked in simple terms. So taking a lead from football, where we have strikers, midfielders, defenders and goalkeepers, in zonal marketing I've identified 4 different types of channel, and I call them the ABCD of the marketing mix. A stands for audience, B stands for broadcast, C stands for conversion, and D, which underpins all of them, stands for data. So let's go through them one at a time. In football, every good team is built on a sturdy defence. Good defenders stop their team from conceding goals whilst also providing a base upon which all forward momentum can be built. In marketing, our defenders are our audience channels. Audience channels are what I define as being any platform on which the company can receive feedback about what they're doing from customers. It's also a platform upon which customers, past, present, and potential, are able to talk to us as the company, about us, and indeed to each other about us. They are essentially conversational platforms. The list is huge and ever growing, but a very short collection of some of the channels that you'll recognize include phone, WhatsApp, SMS, email, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, social media influencers, brand ambassadors, PR, events, award shows, trade shows, online forums, review sites, web chat, web forums, and surveys. Now, some of you will be thinking, okay, so audience channels are the ones that I use for customer service. And you're right. And also wrong. You see, what we're trying to do when we create a compelling collection of audience channels is to understand our customer not simply answer their questions and complaints. The companies that use their audience channels in the most compelling ways are those that actually use them to open up a dialogue with their customers and between customers. So they ask them questions, they encourage them to use their products in interesting and creative ways and to share that online. And they incentivize them to share the message with their friends and with like-minded people. You see, the basis of any good marketing mix is in the audience channels, because the strength of a company's marketing moving forward is in the fan base that it builds up to start with. If you're a small business owner, my most valuable piece of advice is to start with your audience channels first. Get proof of concept. Make sure that your customers like what you're selling and want to join the movement, and then you can build your attacking momentum, your selling momentum from there. Encourage word of mouth. Do everything you can to get people talking about you. Reward them when you can. Lionize them where it's possible. If you do, like building a solid defense, you'll have given yourself the best possible platform on which to build. In football, the midfield has a number of different roles. So in one sense, it's there to support the defense and add clout to their efforts. But in another sense, it's also there to progress the ball forward, and therefore it is their job to proactively go in search of goals and to feed the ball into the strikers who will ultimately try to convert. In marketing, our midfielders are our broadcast channels. That is any channel that is there to support our audience channels in the work that they're doing, whilst also moving our customers closer to the sale. Broadcast channels are any platform on which we are able to transmit a message to our customers, but, and this is the crucial difference with audience channels, they are not able to directly respond to us, the customers, through that channel. Again, the list is huge and ever growing, but a very small selection of the numbers of channels that are typically associated with being broadcast channels includes TV ads, radio ads, print ads, podcast reads, near field comms, point of sale, posters, billboards, flyers, leave behinds, sponsorship, merchandise, product placement, social ads, Google ads, and SEO. The key point is that these are all competitive spaces. If you're not seen in them, your competitors will be. This is the domain of advertising. It's also the domain of domination. Just like how a great midfield sets the tempo of the game, a great collection of broadcast channels sets the agenda for how you would like to talk about your brand and how you'd like your company to be perceived by your customers. Effective broadcast channels will lead the customer to your conversion points in the same way that a great midfielder feeds a fantastic striker, making it easy to convert, having been targeted correctly and with the right message. Now, some of you will have noticed already that there has been some overlap in the channels. Social media, for example, has been mentioned as an audience channel and also as a broadcast channel. This is absolutely fine, in the same way that some players can play both in defense and also move into the midfield. The same is true with marketing channels. In actual fact, this is the ultimate point, right? It's important to isolate where you're putting your social media into your marketing mix in the first instance. Is it an audience channel is as a means of communicating with your audience and spreading the message that way, or is it to broadcast a message to them, for example? Doing that in the first instance is how you prevent yourself from putting out confusing message on those platforms, and will ultimately help you to measure your results more effectively. In football, the players who are tasked with scoring goals are, of course, our strikers. They are the poster boys for the team, and that is because they usually have a direct relationship with the bit that causes all the excitement, and that is, of course, scoring those goals. Well, if making sales are the equivalent of scoring goals in zonal marketing, it therefore makes sense that there are a select group of channels that are the Lionel Messis, the Cristiano Ronaldos of the marketing mix. These are the channels that are directly responsible for taking in the money. Once again, the list is huge and ever growing, but a small selection of the channels most commonly associated with taking sales includes websites, shops, apps, mobile outlets, salespeople, distributors, wholesalers, affiliates, and marketplace sites. In summary, any place where money can be taken or where a deal can be sealed. Now again, there is some overlap in some of the above with other position groups. So for example, a marketplace site like Amazon, Etsy, not on the high street, they are conversion channels because they are places where customers can literally give you money directly through those sites. However, they kind of also double up as broadcast channels because people use those sites as search engines, and therefore you can benefit from the discovery elements of sites like Amazon and through optimizing your listing in those to be more prominent than your competitors. Again, think of these channels as being like hybrid players, a sort of a number 10, for example, who's kind of not quite an out-and-out striker, but also not exactly an attacking midfielder. And again, in marketing, as in football, having these kind of hybrid players who can play between the lines are actually phenomenally powerful and actually should really be considered by most companies, depending on what it is that they sell. The final footballing position that I've neglected to deal with until now, they're always the last ones to be considered, of course, are the goalkeepers. These are a specialist position that are not typically involved in the general play in the football pitch, but are nonetheless absolutely vital to the team's structure. Of course, they're often the last line of defence that stands between a clean sheet and the team obviously conceding a goal. And of course, we have a similar situation in our marketing mix. In zonal marketing, the goalkeeper is your data channel. Data channels are a collection of systems, softwares, and platforms that are used to collect data about your customers, to help you to measure results, and to make informed data-driven decisions moving forward. In the best case scenario, this will take the form of a CRM, a customer relationship management platform, such as Salesforce, HubSpot, or Zoho. But for smaller businesses, other tools such as Google Analytics, or indeed inbuilt CMS measurement platforms such as those included with Shopify or WooCommerce, for example, will suffice. The key, like having a good goalkeeper, is to really try as much as you can to limit yourself to having one within your marketing mix. For a marketer, this gives you one single point of truth, a place where you can gather all the data from all your different operations and activities and really make really clear and simple decisions based on what you're seeing. If you try bringing too many data channels into the mix, what you end up doing is getting into the really messy world of attribution modeling, which is frankly really difficult to do, if not impossible. So my recommendation is that you try to stick to having one main data channel if you can. By all means, take signals from other channels, but really try to stick to prioritizing a very small and simple and mission critical set of data that will help you to stop conceding, i.e. stop losing customers, and also to see what is working so that you can then move forward in an optimized way with your proactive marketing that you're doing on top. Okay, I think that's just about enough for now. Check back here every week for a new video, each one explaining another part of the marketing mix through a footballing lens. If you're enjoying what you're watching, please do like and comment. And while you're at it, why not tell your mates to tell their mates? After all, we all have a responsibility to share these things we know so that we may improve the lives of others. I am available for speaking gigs, training, and client work. If you'd like to find out any more about how to reach me, you can do so at my website, x-cmo.com. In the next session, we'll be talking about the concept of width and why it's important for both football teams and for marketers. But how do you keep things tight? And when do you want to see your players getting chalk on their boots? Find out next time. Until then, thank you very much for your attention.